All righty. Good afternoon and welcome. I want to thank everyone for everyone being in attendance today to celebrate our 221 recruiting class. Early this morning, I was able to get up, do some reading, work out, and had some time to reflect on March 13th, 2020, and that was the day that our team received notification that the university would close because of the COVID-19 virus. And I remember instantly having a staff meeting and deciding that we had to completely change our overall business as a football program when that day occurred. We had to figure out how to develop a team that needed in-person training in the worst imaginable way. We had to continue to develop and change a culture virtually rather than together, which needed to occur. And the biggest challenge that we had, besides dealing with our team, is that we had to 100% prepare to recruit a class without entering a prospect's high school, their home, or even to be able to have them on campus and even be in our building. The work that took place over our spring break to revamp our program and change the way we did business was incredible. There were some people that absolutely did an incredible job of completely 18 to 20-hour days during spring break to totally change and revamp how we did business over the last few months. But there's several people that I have to thank for making this celebration possible, and it took a lot of super creative and completely hard work. First, I'd like to start with President Rogers. Unbelievable support, and like I've said several times, it's hard enough being a president of a university, and I couldn't imagine being a president during a pandemic. Our athletic administration, Bob Moosberger and Kit Hughes, have been incredible. Just like I said, besides being the president of a college, I couldn't imagine being an athletic director in these trying times. Harley King, our compliance director, phenomenal. Chet Hessen and Marissa Taschenberg in academics. Our financial aid director, Elizabeth Laymaster. Nick Valdesari, our director of player personnel. Nick is new and on the scene for us and did an absolute wonderful job this summer. Our SID director, Jason Knavel, as we all know him, was great during this recruiting season. Danny Koppis, along with our medical staff, Jake Warnke and the equipment staff, Jacob Tepp, our film and video guy. I cannot tell you how important and how critical Jacob was in setting us up to survive during the virtual era. He was phenomenal, and he spent more hours than anyone that I've ever seen work. I don't know if he ever slept during this COVID time. Van Wright, as usual, our best recruiter, he did phenomenal. Michael Brown, our life coach, which is absolutely critical to our program. Derek Miller, another guy that laid it on the line during a very difficult time. He's a director of football operation. He was phenomenal. I want to thank all the high school coaches. Talk about a weird year. Not being able to go into high schools, being able to call guys, have those relationships over several years, and for them to tell us the truth about that player whenever we weren't able to be in that home or to be in school or have them on campus. Those high school coaches in the 4-hour radius in particular were absolutely phenomenal. And last but not least, I need to thank our staff. Our staff were rock stars. I can't tell you whenever we hit the part where we were about ready to go into training camp, it felt like we were through 3 seasons. You think of working from home, and we grinded. There was times that we were on those computers for anywhere between 16 and 18 hours talking to recruits, and my hat goes off to our staff. We really did a great job during that crazy time that we were all part of. I'm extremely happy with this class. The class has the same characteristics that we were searching in the 220 class. I think this group is talented. They're very good students. They're high character guys. And the most important thing that I think is unique about these guys is they want to win for Bowling Green, and they are so excited to get Bowling Green back to the standards and high expectations that we have here. They all come from successful high school programs. 82% of this class comes from our footprint in recruiting. They come from Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Illinois, and Kentucky, which we consider our footprint. And most importantly, what I'm most impressed with this group is their families. And we value that in the recruiting process as much as anyone. The positive about the 220 COVID experience is that I'll never do a phone call ever again in recruiting. It'll be 100% FaceTiming. The amount of information that we were able to gain and the understanding of what these kids were all about and their families were all about, technology. That's the one positive thing that we've got out of this 220 COVID year was using technology to really gain information. We signed 12 offensive players and 10 defensive players. We have 3 more left to go in the class, and we will sign them whenever we find the right guys for our program. We really honestly believe this 220 class is going to gel perfectly with our 220 class, which we really look at as going to be the base foundation of our program. In order to build a great house, you have to have a foundation, and we needed to establish that. And I think adding these 221s to this 220 class, we're starting to have a foundation, which is huge. Our theme is that we're going to the moon, and after this season, everyone looks like that's not going to occur, but we are going to go to the moon. I can guarantee you that we're going to graduate our players better than anyone in this conference. We're going to make sure that we develop these players as better fathers, better husbands, and leaders in the community, and we will win championships here. And I understand that it's a dark tunnel right now, but I can guarantee you that we're going to do this thing the right way, and we're going to get to see light here soon. And we're going to build this thing back to the championship standards and expectation that Dave Clawson had, and that's the goal. Everyone in this program right now is 100% on board. They know where we're at, and they know where we belong, and that's getting back to the top. Our business model has not changed whatsoever. We want to methodically build this program the right way to create future prosperity. We're not looking for immediate prosperity and then fall back into a vicious cycle of an up and down program. That's not occur. We're going to build this thing properly, methodically, class by class, stacking those classes up of high character guys with talent and that want to win for Bowling Green. And once we stack classes on top of each other, we're going to have a chance to get back to what we all believe in here, and that's winning and doing things the right way. Our formula to get back has not changed. We need to have good coaches, and we do have good coaches here. We want to recruit players with high characteristics of what we consider a Bowling Green man, and I think we're doing that. I think the 220 and 221 class is exactly what they've had in the past, and we're going to continue in the 22 class to bring the right people here. Our third formula of winning is we got to develop a winning culture, and then we're not there yet. We need to take the next step in our program of developing a winning culture. Not a picking and choosing culture, a day in, day out, 365 day a year process of winning in every single thing we do as a student athlete. We need to work on that, and we're going to gain some good development time in the 21 off season. We want to maximize our players to the fullest, both on and off the field, and we need to continue that. We're still not anywhere near where we want to be in that area. And then probably the biggest thing that needs to occur here, besides development and finalizing our culture, is we got to get these guys to love each other. These championship teams that I've been a part of, and I had a former player in here today that won championships in the 80s here, and he talked about the love, the bond, the special relationships that they had, and those relationships generally push you over the top, particularly when you're trying to build a championship program. In regards to 220, 220 was not fun, and it was absolutely zero where we expect to be. As painful as 220 was, we're going to look back when our program is healthy, and we're going to be extremely thankful for this year. We learned so many positive and negative lessons during this year. We got a crystal clear picture of where we're at and where we need to go. I think our players really understood that how important being on top of your business 365 days a year and commitment to excellence is important. I think they really got a huge understanding of how you just don't show up in the fall and expect to win. Winning takes place January through August, and I think they've got a good understanding that just showing up in August isn't going to get it done. I think we learned, and we're still building in this area, about full speed training and how important and how every single rep in practice matters. You know, whenever you look at our losses and our downfalls on offense, defense, and special teams, it happened the same way it did in practice. We would be 10 hats would be going in the right direction and one wouldn't. And when that occurs, you're generally going to have failure. So they got to understand how practice repetition carries over to the game. The place that I think that we're going to develop the most is discipline, and that's completely on me. I don't think we're a very disciplined team right now, and we've really got to do a great job this offseason of creating championship habits in everything we do. Right now, we're a picking and choosing organization. We pick and choose, and when you're a picker and a chooser, you're going to be inconsistent, and we've got to knock that out of our program, and we will. The last thing that I think we learned from 220 is, and I'm extremely thankful for it, is experience, and more experience. We got some guys, we got several freshmen that were able to, and older guys that haven't played a lot, to get some experience without zero cost. And the positive thing is this is a 6-game season that we were able to essentially have zero loss in my mind. We were able to get everyone's years of eligibility back. And just like I said, when we're healthy and this program is back on top, we're going to look back at this 220 year and be very thankful for it, as painful as it was. We understand that getting to the moon is extremely difficult. The 220 year made us adapt and adjust. And just like in the 60s, when they were trying to figure out how to build a rocket to get into space, there was times that rockets blew up. There was things that didn't work. And that's part of the process right now of us getting to the moon. It's not going to happen overnight, particularly whenever you have the youngest football team in college right now. And it's going to be a step-by-step methodical process. Our 221 off-season, I think, is going to be absolutely imperative to develop our team. Just like I said, we have the youngest team in the country right now. We need to take the training wheels off, and we need to maximize our development this off season. We need discipline, and we need daily championship habits. And I cannot tell you how excited I am, our players are, to attack the discipline and attack the ways of business that a champion does day in and day out. Today, I think we made some huge steps in improving our program by adding 22 more guys to our roster. Today, we're going to celebrate the 21 class, and tomorrow morning, we're going to attack the 220 class like you've never seen. As a program, we said that we felt after we got through the 22 class that we'll start to feel much more healthy as a program and to get us back to where we want to be. Excited about the opportunity to get with our guys here in 2 weeks. There'll be some mid-semester guys coming into the program in 21. And after meeting with our players, the 35 guys that I met with before they left for break, I'll meet with the rest of the team when they get back. They are excited to attack the areas that we all know that we need to improve in. With all that being said, I talked way too much. I'll open it up for questions.
God, I think that might have been a record for an opening statement. I think 15 minutes, that was good. I want to ask you, when you're going into recruit and you haven't had the results yet, what is that like to have to sit down with a family when you're selling them on a dream and an expectation, but you guys haven't proven it yet? What is that conversation like?
Well, the philosophy of recruiting the 4-hour radius is they understand. It wasn't too long ago that this place was the Taj Mahal of the Mid-American Conference. You know, in Dave Clawson's, at the end of Dave Clawson's era, this was the healthiest program. You could ask any MAC coach that was here whenever Coach Clawson put this thing together. And, recruiting the 4-hour radius these parents really, they didn't forget that Bowling Green is an elite place and an elite program, and we're starting at the bottom. We know that, and Dave did at during his tenure here, and he was able to build it back and get it to back to elite where it should be. So I can't tell you. I think as a coach, we're completely paranoid because it's a result-based business, and whenever you have to get on the phone with these kids, it's an instant gratification world that we live in right now. To visualize winning championships, years away, is hard. But the character and the type of kids that we recruited and the families that we recruited, they were all in. They were more fired up when I talked to them than I was, after a loss. They know where we're going. They understand. They got a great relationship with the 220 kids, and you could just feel the gel, and you can feel that this group's going to come together in a few years after they get bigger, stronger, and older, and it's going to be a special group.
Scott, there were so many variables in this cycle where you have to completely change how you would normally recruit a guy. But then when you actually got to the end of it, all the guys that were committed to you stayed that way and signed. Were you thankful that this was relatively drama-free this last 6 weeks here?
No question about it. And just like I said, I think the relationships, the only thing that I learned from COVID that I liked is technology. It made all of us get out of our comfort zone. Just like I said, there will be not one time that I ever call a recruit. I'll never call a recruit ever again. It'll be 100% FaceTime. I believe in it. The information that we were able to gain by FaceTiming and through technology about the prospect was through the roof. And I think they got to see who we really are too. There's a trust, there's a bond that's already been created. Just like I said, when I was down about a game and down about getting our butts kicked, these people energized me when they call and say, "Hey, don't worry, coach, we're going to get there. We know what you recruited in 220. We love the 21 kids that are in this class with us," and the families were outstanding, and they gave some inspiration to us all in regards to they know where we're going and they believe it, and it's going to be fun to watch this thing get put together.
What was it about Cade Zimmerly this past season that kind of made you give him another look?
He's a tough guy now, and he's an undersized guy. I understand that, but I've watched a lot of undersized guys be really, really good. I had the great fortune, and again, I'm talking about a 16-year vet, to be around Dominic Raiola. I mean, the guy is 6 foot, and he's the most relentless, tough guy I've ever been around, and he's smart and he's intelligent. And I don't know if Cade's going to be at that ability. I hope so. I hope we got one of those diamonds. But I just was so impressed with how he played. He's a high character guy. He's a Northwest Ohio guy. His high school coach is a BG guy. And to get this thing the right way, when we got here, there was 0 Ohio guys. There was 0 Northwest Ohio guys. There needs to be pride. There needs to be importance. Just like I said, living in the state of Ohio, I watched 3 games. I watched the Michigan-Notre Dame game, the Michigan-Ohio State game. That's not true. 4 games. The Toledo Bowling Green game, and I did watch those Zips and those Kent State Flashes play every year. I mean, that was big to me. And whenever you recruit that 4-hour radius, they understand what Bowling Green is, and they know where we're going. And it wasn't too long ago that this was an elite program, and we got a lot of work. I mean, we've got a ton of work. We got more work than Dave Clawson ever thought about having, but that's okay because this thing's going to be great, and it's going to be so fun to watch after even I'm done here, to watch this place take off, and that's the whole goal. I said as a head coach I would never use a university, and I want to make sure that when we're done here that this is an elite program just like Dave left it.
I remember you saying earlier in the cycle what you really needed. You needed guys who could score. You guys needed some playmakers.
Yep.
What do you have in this class that you went after and then signed today?
We do. We have, I think, the running back position. I feel healthy there. I think the two running backs that we took, one Nick Mosley out of Columbus, and then Jason Patterson out of Jacksonville, and then we've got a guy named Jamal Johnson that's a hybrid. He's listed as an athlete. He'll play receiver and running back. I think we've upgraded that room immensely. I think we still need to. We added two receivers that I really like, Jalen Smith and Tayshawn Johnson. I think we still need to add some more speed to the receiver room, which we will. The emphasis in 22 is going to be speed, 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 speed. When we took over this thing, we said that we needed to get the fronts right first. That's the most important thing. They take the longest time to develop. And the guys that can get on the field first are those fast guys. And we need to go recruit some speed in 22. So if there's any fast guys out there, we want them. And we're going to recruit speed like no other in 22 because that's the next phase that we need to get into.
One of the playmakers you got was a local kid. He's the only local kid you gave a scholarship to, Tayshawn Johnson from Central Catholic. What did you see from him?
Yeah, we like Tayshawn. He's, with Coach Dempsey over there at Central Catholic, we've got a great relationship. He said he's been hands down one of our better players on our team. I love his character. I love his toughness. He's got grit. He's us. He's going to be tough. He's going to block on the perimeter. He's going to do a lot of good things for us. I really like him.
And I want to ask you about one other local kid that you gave the walk-on opportunity to, Jaden McKinstry. His story is incredible. What did you know about his story, and what were the conversations like with him kind of late here?
Well, it's amazing how the world works. I was at Boston College, and I was actually coming down to watch Brady throw, and offered him a scholarship that day. Actually, I think he's a good player. I think Cincinnati got a good quarterback. I really do. But I remember watching Brady throw, and I see this tall, long, good-looking guy, and I go, "Who is that?" And he was just diagnosed, I think, with cancer. And his story is remarkable. That's a guy that is going to do great things academically here. I would not be shocked at all watching his athletic ability. He got put back a little bit because of the cancer, athletically. But I think that guy will earn a scholarship someday here. And he's a winner. He's an overachiever. I mean, my goodness gracious, how does a guy, have a complete year off of school and beat cancer? He's a winner, and he could be on our team any day of the week. Love him, and we want people that are overachievers that want to be here, and I love him, and I'm glad he's here.
You touched on it. The first thing you guys wanted to do was get the lines right. You added another 4 kids on each line today, on each side of the ball. Are you finally at the point where you start to feel, numbers-wise, you're starting to feel good in those 2 rooms?
Yeah, we'll probably still, though, Nick, go to 3 to 4 more offensive line and probably 2 to 3 more defensive line next year. But just like I said, we're gonna get those positions completely finalized, and then speed. We need to go get speed, and we're gonna do that. But I was really impressed with the offensive linemen that we took: Alex, Dawson, Cade, and Rocco. And then I love these defensive linemen that we've took. De'Aaron Kelly is a superstar. Chase Watton, I think, is going to be something else. I love Nate Paps and his family. He's offered by Pittsburgh, offered by Vanderbilt, and we were able to get him. Cassius Howell is, I think, a difference maker off the edge. And we got a really good linebacker. He's going to be a culture guy. Diego Niergo is awesome. And, we did some good things up front. So that's really, really important to us. And, we just need to continue to build those fronts and then get speed in 22 like no other. Not to say that we didn't get some speed in the 21 class. We did. But the emphasis has got to be some guys that can flat roll.
And then you also mentioned how few local players that you guys had, both in terms of players who are scholarship players, and then the guys that you have targeted as PWOs. Even within the 4-hour radius, the 30 to 40 mile range within Bowling Green, how much do you see that as being part of what you would like this to be year in and year out?
It has to be. I believe take care of your backyard. And I watched Coach Tressel do it. I did. When I was at the University of Michigan, he took care of Ohio, and he recruited some really, really good players out of Ohio. And the one thing that I'll never forget about Coach Tressel's teams is their spirit about Ohio State was off the charts. And, Ohio guys are going to love Ohio State. Michigan guys are going to love Michigan. That's just how it rolls. Northwest Ohio guys are going to love Toledo and Bowling Green. That's how it works. So taking care of our backyard is very important. Recruiting the 4-hour radius is huge. And that's how you get through tough times is recruiting your backyard and recruiting the 4-hour radius. Just like Jordan asked, how do you do that when you're not very good yet? Well, they knew we were good. They understood that Bowling Green is a great place, but you wouldn't know that if you lived in California, Arizona. You would have no clue. You just look at the record of Bowling Green those last couple of years and not understand the history and the tradition of this great place.
And then you have 3 spots left in this class. Do you anticipate using them by the time you get to February?
We'll see. Like I said, we're not into the free agent market, but if there is a kid that Nick that has multiple years of eligibility left that fits an older guy that has character, we obviously would take him. But the biggest thing that we can't do right now, just because we're still trying to get the foundation of the house right, is we can't go get a great player that we're only going to have for 5 months. That makes 0 sense to me. Once the house is completely correct and our locker room is correct, you can go bring a difference maker into your program and sacrifice that initial scholarship. But that initial's like gold. It makes no sense from a business end to bring a guy in for 6 months when you can bring a guy in for 4 years. It makes 0 sense. And, we're not going to go down those rabbit holes of instant, you can go do all that. And then 4 years from now, 3 years from now, Bowling Green's right back in the same spot. We're not going to do that that way. We're going to make sure that it's built the right way. And I thank Dave Clausen every single day. He's given me the formula along with Coach Meyer, and we're going to stick to that plan. And they said it's going to be some rough waters, man, and just keep the boats afloat, get through it. And you'd much rather have some pain and misery now than 5 years from now. I don't want that for Bowling Green. I want this place to be completely right.